This is a Fatal 4 podcast.
You gotta be kidding me with that level of core power!
Even more so at this point in a matchup, and Belair's about to put this one to bed.
Up top, EST!
Belair went for that 450, did not get it at all.
Welcome to Didn't Get All of It. I'm Paul Griffin. This week on the show, I hope you're ready for a good time because we're talking a lot about Smackdown, oddly enough, as well as a bunch of stuff that happened on Raw. And CM Punk had a pretty busy week, and there's some new faces coming to WWE we'll be talking about momentarily. But first, I have to introduce the rest of the Fatal Four, who are all here, including Pro Wrestling Noah.
I fed a giraffe some lettuce today. It's true. I went to the zoo.
People do be saying weird shit on podcasts. Also here, Cody.
New faces coming to WWE. I think they need more heels. Who's going to challenge Cody Rhodes? That's not, a bloodline.
I think we can talk about that on this podcast because, boy. Speaking of boy, the B stands for B-Rob.
Boy was accurate. I have been a boy. I am a boy.
I think it's my understanding that white people should not be calling.
Oh, I see.
Like
I see there.
Boy, and I thought about that before saying it, and I'm like, now I don't want to get canceled. I see what happens to people who run for office and say things on the internet, and
you run into
if you say my boy.
You put my in front of that. That might.
I feel like that makes it worse.
No, that's my boy. That's my boy B-Rob. That's my boy.
Well, I guess if you say it like that, it's fine. If I say it, it comes off like something else.
My man, Bobby Lashley.
My man.
I would like to take this brief moment in time to wish Mrs. B-Rob a happy 16th anniversary.
Wow.
I love you very much.
Happy anniversary, Mrs. B-Rob. Did you know
Love
that
I thought you were going to
hosting a
say.
podcast?
I thought you were going to say 16th birthday.
Ha!
I was going to say you got some
That'd be
explaining to
very
do, B-Rob.
That'd be very bad.
Yeah, happy anniversary.
Woohoo!
Love is in the air
guys-
and on this podcast.
Do you guys want to, before we jump into all this wrestling talk, talk about what we were going to do with the Patreon and tell people about it?
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot going on over there.
Yeah. So, folks, if you are a Patreon subscriber, you'll maybe like this news. I don't know. You seem like you're invested in this podcast enough. So why not get a little more invested? We are going to be launching a $5 tier because bonus shows are coming. Right now, you can sign up for $3, get you access to the Discord where we're active all week, get you ad-free episodes, all that jazz. But we also are looking to do spin-off shows. So, for example, I'll just go with the one that is going to happen for sure. Noah and I want to talk about video games. So I'm pushing for it to be called Square Circle Strafe Multiplayer, since it's a one-person show on the regular.
That's nice.
It makes sense to have other people. We'll talk about that later. But I have a lengthy list of notes to talk about. So there's probably going to be multiple episodes of that. There's going to be Didn't Get All of It specials. There's going to be Didn't Get All of It Japan specials. There's going to be Spooky Boys. All this stuff coming to your feed. For only $5 a month to get you everything that the $3 does, as well as these bonus shows. That said, wanted to caveat, the $3 tier will also get some bonus shows, but not the ones that are direct spin-offs of shows. So banter shows, stuff that doesn't take any work. The stuff that takes work is going to cost more. But
yes,
for example, this weekend in the $3 tier, the Japan boys talked a bunch and have a bonus show coming your way. So if you want some banter, that'll be hitting your feeds like Saturday or Sunday, maybe Monday.
Yeah.
So that's the deal. I'll push that out and make an announcement on the actual Patreon if you're already there. If you're not already there, sign up because that money helps us run this thing, and we appreciate it.
Yes.
Plus, that's the first place you find out that we have merch, which we haven't really talked about on this show because we're not in sales. But we do have merch. You can go to fatal4pod.com and click the shop button at the top. It'll take you to our Etsy store where you can shop hats and t-shirts and beanies for all these favorite podcasts and get access to the limited edition logo shirts that will be going away on October 1st.
That's
so
soon?
yeah, jump on those now because they will be gone soon. If you didn't get them and you want them, now's your chance. And if you're in the Discord, there was a promo code given. So another reason to sign up for the Patreon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exclusive.
Anyway, that is
Pays for itself.
things. Mm-hmm.
it does pay for itself because the promo code does save you like more than $3 on merch. So yeah, there's that. That's all the salesy bullshit. Did you guys do anything fun this week?
I went to the zoo today.
Yeah, you talked about that already.
You said a sentence.
I fed a giraffe some lettuce. That's all I did at the zoo. That's kind of all I did. I rode a carousel. It was carnival night at the zoo. So really the only animals that they had out was the giraffe because it's nighttime. And most animals don't like being around at night. And
you learned about Kazarni.
And I also learned about Kazarni because Cody asked me if I knew about Kazarni after I told him I went to the zoo. And the answer was no, I didn't know about Kazarni, but now I do know about Kazarni. And I don't know, could I look up a Kazarni match on Peacock somewhere?
I think you could look up the one Kazarni match, yeah.
There's only one Kazarni match?
I
He
think
lasted
so.
like a week or two, yeah.
That short?
Yeah.
There was
gimmick
like a
like
month
that?
long of vignettes, and then I think he literally wrestled like a handful of times on SmackDown. I don't think he ever had a pay-per-view match.
It is funny because when I looked him up on Google image search, there was a Reddit post that had a picture of Wyatt Six, Dexter Loomis, and it said, "Where does this rank on the Kazarni scale?" Because I guess he
Where did you
kind of
ask him
looks
about
like
Kazarni? I don't see that. That's not in our group chat.
That was with
No, it
our
was before
voices before we started
in
recording.
here.
Oh, okay. Before I came
vocally
to the podcast, I was watching the Kamala Oprah thing live from the Thunderdome.
Was that your fun thing you did this week?
No, it was actually pretty depressing. They talked about school shootings and stuff.
Of course.
The American things.
Yeah, it looks like
I
he had
didn't do
two
anything fun this
matches on SmackDown. One of was a Battle Royal.
Oh my god. You go look up the Battle Royal.
Sounds
Like
like a tape
Elimination
study.
Chamber qualifying Battle Royal.
Did he win?
The shortest tape study ever.
Did he win?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't remember Kazarni's historic run as World Heavyweight Champion when he won it in Elimination Chamber?
So
I went and saw Post Malone in concert this week.
What?
At Fenway Park.
How was
Tell
that?
me
Who
more.
was we with?
Some country folks that I didn't.
Oh, right,
No.
because he does country music now.
They were fine, but wasn't super into the openers.
Well,
But
question.
he was fantastic. Yes.
Yeah, question. So, like, I mean, I know he's in this country era right now, but does he do like at this show? Did he do any of his like classic hits?
Oh yeah, he did all his hits. He
Oh,
did
okay.
Sunflower and Congratulations and all that stuff. But a lot of them were like, he had a live band, and some of them were kind of slowed down or like, a little bit different.
think
But yeah, he did
one
all
of the
his hits.
more, I think one of the more enjoyable things that I've seen with Post Malone involved was I think he was at a party or some shit, and he had a mariachi band singing White Iverson. I thought that was hilarious.
That's awesome. And hey, this whole conversation is still on topic because Post Malone is a wrestler according to WWE 2K24 DLC. You can play as him.
Yeah,
Is he there now?
I
Is
did-
that live?
Yeah. Well,
that's
actually,
like a month old.
he was there for a while. Yeah.
yeah, that came out a little while ago. The new DLC just came out this week.
Oh yeah, I was playing that right before we went live. Jay Cargill looks amazing. The first match that I put in was at WrestleMania against China, so I wanted to see how that looked.
Big ladies.
I still need to download that because I've been addicted to Star Wars Outlaws.
How was that going?
Man, I said I didn't do anything fun this week. I played Sabak a bunch.
Yeah. Spock's fucking game.
There's a mini game in Star Wars Outlaws that will steal your life.
Is it like poker or something like that?
Yeah, it's like a poker.
Yeah.
It's like Go Fish and poker, and it's
like
you're
Go
just making
Fish
you're just it literally is. You're just matching cards, and the cards
guess
have
that's
different
kinda
they have different like is it denominations? Maybe
I don't
some
know.
cards
I
are worth
feel-
more than others.
It kind of also feels like Texas Hold'em if the river was always changing.
I don't know fuck all about cards, but I know Sabak.
Okay.
And
How you live in
there's a
Texas and you don't know anything about Texas Hold'em?
because I don't know anything about cards. But the best thing about this is like in the game, you find different tables throughout, like at all the planets, and there's like a droid in the middle that's a lazy Susan like dealer who spins around the table and throws cards at you, and it's fucking great. But all the characters at the table, they all shit talk like throughout the entire time, and they all have different voices. And some of them are like characters you have to like beat, and other ones are just random tables you find of a lonely person at a bar who wants someone to play cards with them. And I destroy everybody. It's so fun.
It's so good.
And you can find
You also
ways to
got your little
cheat.
your little special tokens you can use to fire off different abilities.
Yeah, it's so awesome. We'll talk about that on the Patreon.
Yeah, this is a preview of that episode.
I got so much to say about Star Wars Outlaws, the game that I thought I was going to hate. I literally thought I was going to hate it, and I'm like, what's $70? And I bought it. So sign up for the Patreon. I make frivolous decisions with my money, and I need all the help I can get.
Still paying.
I don't
for that
regret it
watch.
at all. I don't regret it at all. It's so good. I got to pay for that PlayStation pre-order I'm making next week.
Oh God, yeah, the 30th.
Oh, you getting the gray one?
Gray one, yeah.
I want that gray one
Oh,
so
so
bad.
good.
I'm not getting the pro though. I've watched enough videos where they're like, look how much better the graphics are, and I'm like, I don't need that.
But
I mean,
Paul,
if
you
you
don't
don't-
have to choose between fidelity and performance. What if you didn't have to choose?
What if
I
you
never
didn't have to
choose.
choose?
I always choose performance.
You already have a PS5 and you're buying the different colored one?
Yeah, but I'm gonna sell this one.
Oh, okay.
I'm not gonna have both.
I just want that controller.
I want the whole thing. We'll talk about this later. Speaking of Kazarni, he was a character on WWE SmackDown, and that's a show we're going to talk about because this week SmackDown launched on the USA Network on Friday, and it has an all new look. And yeah,
New
throughout the
actual
show-
theme song with actual music.
God, I'm so fucking happy. I've never been so happy to hear a Megan Thee Stallion song. It feels like also like this song just came out, right?
Yeah.
Like I think it
Like,
drops the
this
same
month.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Because like, not only does it feel normal and culturally relevant, it is. Like it's
And I'm pretty
real
sure
music.
like
They're
people are
real
using
music
it in TikTok too. Like it's being used outside of the context of wrestling as well. So
Do you think
Popular song.
they would benefit from like kind of cycling through themes, or do you think they need to have like a definitive one that sticks around for a while?
I like when they stick around for a while because they're definitive to eras. And you think about them. And that's what I was going to get to is throughout this show, they showed about 3 or 4 different clips of like photos or something from like SmackDown in the past. And the first one had the original SmackDown theme, which as much as I praise using real music, nothing tops the first SmackDown song. And then they did some other ones later. Like, what was that one? I won't be denied. The video was like black and white, and it was like a lot of white space was used. So they played that song, and then there was another one they played with a theme I've never heard before in my life. I think it was just the time I just said I'm not watching SmackDown until this show gets good, which is weird because somebody on Twitter was like, "Yeah, SmackDown was so much better then than it is now," when it had fucking Kazarni on it.
Yeah, nostalgia's stupid. People will always like. There's always going to be a generation that's like, man, it was so much better when, and they're talking about like the fucking guest host era of Raw.
You shouldn't be allowed to be nostalgic about things that absolutely fucking suck. Unless you're like,
All right.
man, that sucked. I miss when things sucked.
All right, so we can't talk about Chris Jericho.
Well, we can't talk. We're not going to be nostalgic about his current run. We can talk about how great he was in 2001. He had a killer feud with Rhino in 2001.
Is that when he went through this oval screen?
Yeah, that's how they changed the stage. They destroyed the old set. It was so cool. Good
Look
times.
at that, full circle.
I'm nostalgic for that because it was good. You can't be nostalgic for bad SmackDown. It's not acceptable. But yeah, what did you guys think of the new logo that came out early Friday? It's very dark.
I didn't like
Not a
it.
fan. It looks like it says Smackdown.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
When my eyes touched it, I was like, no. No.
I
also,
definitely don't like it as it's by itself. And I wish they bring the exclamation point back because I'm nostalgic for good things, not bad things.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Where's the exclamation point?
They haven't had that in years,
What?
which is nuts. Yeah, the SmackDown logo hasn't had an exclamation point in a long time.
I think he's typing
This is-
very
this
furiously.
is-
Hear the keyboard.
This is a Bernstein Bears situation. Are you kidding me? Where's the
First of all, they're
exclamation point?
Mandela
Sorry,
Bears.
did you say Bernstein Bears?
Yeah.
Oh, he's doing the thing.
Where the fuck's the?
What?
Oh my god! They got rid of the exclamation point like
Right after
2008. Where have I been?
It's been gone for a while.
No, this
They
is
got rid of it
definitely-
when
no,
they got
this
rid
is-
of the Marilyn Manson logo, I think.
No
Yeah,
fucking
that's-
way.
That's like when we got rid of the exclamation point and didn't get all of it logo.
Didn't we have one of those?
We had an exclamation point in our logo.
Yeah.
I think we initially did, like in the early
See?
mock-ups.
See?
I think that, or you might
No,
be
this is
Mandela
crazy.
affecting all of us.
This is a total Mandela effect. I swear the SmackDown logo has the exclamation point up until this week.
Yeah, it's been gone for a while.
I kind of like the new logo. The new logo kind of reminds me of like the 2000s era SummerSlam logo with like the squiggly S.
Yeah, I can see that.
They probably
think-
recycled it.
It doesn't look like any modern graphic design I've ever seen. And I don't like it at first glance, but in execution on the show, like it's animated and it looks pretty good, like in motion. It's very much, it's easy to see that like this does say smack and it does say down. But it's a little jarring. It's very much Triple H is like, no, these logos were too bright before. Let's make them darker. And the long
When they
version
gonna put
of it is
skulls
really
on it?
good. The one that scrolls around the ticker in the arena is good. Because it's not the stacked on top of each other version. But there's also too much fucking shit going on with their graphics. There's like lightning and there's stones flying in the air and there's blue and then there's light waves and this is just like all happening on the big screen, the Titantron.
Well, like at least there's not like the AR graphics flying through the air too.
Thank God they got rid of that. That was so bad. They still use them on pay-per-views though. I
That's
think.
true.
But they're not that terrible anymore. They've gotten better. But yeah, it's an adjustment, and I guess the good news is they're not afraid to make adjustments as they go. Like I could see them ditching a lot of it within like 2 weeks and just cleaning it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a new logo, we got a new theme. I mean, it is a new color scheme. Like it's still blue and silver and stuff, but it's
A lot more black.
it's definitely Triple H has taken over and said too bright. Turn the lights down.
Got to make it a little more brooding.
So unfortunately, I did watch this SmackDown. And if you didn't, but you've seen other ones, let me just tell you, the Bloodline showed up and got beat up and did some beating up. And then
Let's
also
say there was a cage
Andrade,
match.
Andrade also took on Carmelo Hayes. If you missed the other 5 of them, there was one here.
I do want to say I watched the highlights for this episode, and there was maybe 30 seconds dedicated to the cage match and then like 3 whole minutes dedicated to what happened after the cage match because that seemed like it was the only interesting part.
Man, the cage. So they also announced that the first quarter of the show was going to be commercial free. And I'm like, great, they're going to do some cool shit within the first 30 minutes. The whole cage match went like 30 minutes. Like Triple H came out and said welcome, and then they did the cage match that had they did the dun 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 music as it lowered, but they also had fire. Like they added a bunch of unnecessary pyro as the cage lowered, which I enjoyed. And then Solo Sikoa and Cody Rhodes just had a match that went on for an eternity, where once again, not a single soul in existence thought Solo Sikoa would even come close to winning. Stop having these guys wrestle. I'm fucking sick of it.
Is Solo Sikoa the most unbelievable world champion challenger this company's had in the last decade?
I think so. The thing is, I don't find him to be a terrible wrestler, but the way he's been booked and the way these matches have gone, I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. He's just not ready. He's not at that level.
He doesn't feel like a threat.
No,
he's not.
No.
Even that tag team that follows him around is more of a threat.
Yeah, the other three seem like, looming in the background eventually when they betray Solo and he goes back with his brothers and Roman. Yeah. Get Tonga Loa out of there, goddammit.
I don't think he should go back with Roman. The only place he should go back to is maybe NXT.
Get Tonga Loa out of there.
It's funny.
So though.
It's funny that he's there.
Yeah, you got to have at least one bad wrestler on TV. We need it. First of all, we need it for show intros, but also for lulls.
For memes.
Fuck, I just found something on our logo that's driving me nuts now that I've never noticed before.
The missing
God
exclamation point.
Yeah, it needs another exclamation point. After the cage match, the Timu Bloodline came out and surrounded Cody, and they kind of beat him up a little. And then Roman showed up and saved the day. And that was the running story throughout the show, is that Solo wants a match but with him and Jacob Fatu against Cody and Roman at next pay-per-view event. And
Bad Blood.
Yeah, that's the one. And then at one point, Cody went up to Adam Pearce in the back and was like, "No, I'm fucking done with this. Like, I'm done with the Bloodline. That's Roman's problem." And I'm like, "Great, we're not getting that match. Let's move along." And then this happened.
Whether I have my family's Ulafala or not, I am the tribal chief. And you see, I'm not just the original tribal chief. I am the only tribal chief. And don't ever get it confused. This is my ring. This is my show. This is my WWE.
Your ring. Your WWE. Well, it was. But it hasn't been since WrestleMania.
Earlier tonight, Cody Rhodes said his business with the Bloodline was done. Apparently not. Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes have inked the contract.
So you're getting the tag match.
Can they coexist?
It was your WWE,
What?
but it ain't no more.
I'm trying to figure out if the crowd booed that or if they went, "Ooh, like I got him." Because, like, don't boo Cody over Roman. What are we doing? He hasn't earned anybody's. Like, if they're going to do the Bloodline versus Bloodline thing, there needs to be, like, a Roman Reigns apology tour where he straight up apologizes to his entire family for how he behaved. Otherwise,
Or
there's
not.
no justification for them backing him up.
Well, they also like when they had their little standoff in the ring, you know, like when they were like staring each other down while the cage was still down. The crowd was chanting OTC like a lot. Like they are.
People
I feel
like
like
Roman,
that
you
crowd
just
at
don't.
the very least was much
just-
more behind Roman than they were Cody.
From a storytelling perspective, there's still no justification to like him right now, other than like, hey, that bad guy sure got, replaced by his peons. But that doesn't make me like him. And I think for him to be a babyface, he needs to like do what Kevin Owens has been doing, where he's like, I used to be a piece of shit, but people can change. Let me hold the baby. I think Roman Reigns needs to ask to hold the baby, prove that he can change.
Nah, they don't do that shit no more.
It's
I know, I agree.
change. Looks back real nice right now.
Because like, what
I don't
actually
know.
is different about this Roman character?
Nothing. He doesn't have the spicy peppers.
He just doesn't. He just doesn't have like 4 goons standing behind him, and that's it. Like, there's nothing different about the presentation. So I agree. Something needs to happen.
I'm fine with him being like, I'm still the tough guy. I still run this shit. That's great. Do that all you want. But like, to put the band back together, I'm gonna need someone to explain to Jey Uso and Sami Zayn why they should fucking back him up, because he treated them horrendously.
They'll have that conversation.
Jimmy, he doesn't need an explanation. He's been a loser the whole time, so I think he's still aligned with Roman, honestly. But yeah, that was the big development on SmackDown. The other development of SmackDown came out today, and we'll talk more about this later. But just a quick teaser: the story dropped today that after Raw goes to Netflix, SmackDown's going to be 3 hours, and I've been saying this for weeks and weeks and weeks because it was so obvious, and the people that were denying it or not thinking about it, shame on you for not thinking with your brain.
Less that I was denying it and more that I didn't want to manifest it into our plane of reality.
Oh, so now you're blaming me for 3 hours.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
Yep.
It was never going to be 3 hours on a local channel because they all have to cut to the local news immediately, because people have to know who just died 40 miles away from you. So there's never going to be an overrun or any of that. But like, the idea that USA is losing both NXT and Raw and gaining a 2-hour Friday show, they don't want that.
Yeah, I guess they got to make that time up.
Yeah, they're getting a 3-hour SmackDown for sure. And clearly WWE wants to do more with it. I don't know what that could be. I find
What are they going to
the
do?
stuff-
They barely have enough time. They barely have
don't-
enough content to fill out 2 hours.
I think they have plenty of talent there, because you don't see everybody every week. Like, there was no Street Profits this week. There was no Vinci this week. There was no Johnny and Tommaso this week. Like, you can fill this show out.
How come I
with people
see
that aren't there.
freaking A-Town Down Under every week, though?
That's
But you know what?
That's a problem
The
in itself.
two teams that you just mentioned, they are on NXT.
Well, who?
Street Profits are on NXT. They was just there, and A-Town Down
Yeah,
Under
we
is
know.
going to be there too.
A-Town Down Under should stay there.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
I feel like we should do
Well,
a deep
they
dive
should go-
onto like why Austin Theory hasn't worked, and I'm partially convinced it's because Vince McMahon.
You don't have to
in the
dive
egg.
that deep though.
And
You don't have to dive that deep.
He just doesn't have it, but I think there's more to it.
Yeah, but like, yeah, they can go to NXT, and then Waller can drop him off and go back.
To Australia?
Like, no, to
You want him
the main
serving
town.
blooming onions at the Outback?
I don't think he likes that.
I don't know, man. If you had a blooming onion,
But he might be going. He might be going back to Australia, like for real, because I think they announced him for a show out there.
Cool. That's fine.
Yep.
He
Baller is baller.
he hasn't been balling since he got called up to the main roster. I can tell you that.
Yeah, because they stuck him with that motherfucker so they can get the rub. Well, he can get the rub. Fucking Austin Theory. Sorry, son of a bitch. But I digress. Continue.
Unless you guys have more to say on SmackDown, I'm not going to continue because we are going to take a quick break. Interrupt me if you guys got something to say.
Continue to the break.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about all the happenings that are worth talking about on Raw and some of CM Punk's busy week. And then much later, we're talking about more of the 3-hour SmackDown and some news that dropped this week.
Welcome back to...
Whenever you're ready, Cody.
Okay. Okay, pal.
Hey, you did that thing we did.
Welcome back to Didn't Get All of It.
No, were you about to say something?
Wait.
I thought Noah was going to say something. Never mind.
I thought he was.
Okay.
I can hear him. Oh no.
I might keep this in.
Welcome back, everybody, to Didn't Get All of It. We are going to talk about Monday Night Raw because we talked a little bit before the break about SmackDown's new sight and sounds. Raw looks the same, but it definitely sounds different as we are now week 3 of Joe Tessitore called Monday Night Raws. What do we think of the job he's been doing so far?
No, this isn't in the note. No. Just because I said you get to talk shit about him to stay awake because we're doing a late show doesn't mean you actually get to.
No, I'm going to talk about it because he stinks.
He's so much better than he was 3 weeks
good.
ago. Like, especially in the EO and Bianca match, he was so good.
Okay, yeah, he's better from he went from diarrhea to solid poop.
Hey man, that's an improvement though.
That's healthy.
Yeah, that's
still shit.
You want the solids?
Nah, he's not good. Look, he is all the worst traits of Mauro Ranallo.
I disagree. He hasn't made one clever reference.
No, he was like when Judgment Day came out, he was like, I don't know what he said. He was like, oh, they're coming out in their mewing or something and skibbity toilet. He's definitely trying way too hard. He's also say. He's like his commentary sounds like how I used to write essays in high school, where he just throws random words and uses alliteration
How did you pass?
Just to fill the word count. Basically, he stinks. I don't enjoy it. It's grating. It just doesn't sound like a wrestling commentator voice.
I'm sorry, Cody. What he actually said was your cringe-worthy glazing of Dirty Dom.
Yeah, terrible.
That's how adults talk now.
No, he stinks.
That sounds like a line that Corey Graves would have fed him, honestly.
The EO Bianca match was fantastic. And his call was he got excited, but who wouldn't? The match fucking slapped.
Yeah, but if he didn't give a shit, he wouldn't have been excited. You can call that as a bored former wrestler. I don't think Corey Graves would have been half as into this as this guy was.
Yeah. And also, for some reason, it really bothered me when he was like, KOD opportunity. It's just such a weird, unnatural way to call Bianca's finisher attempt.
I think he's getting better, as opposed to the people that they have brought in the past who were bad from the start and never improved.
Yeah, like Booker T.
What the hell,
man? Booker T's the best part of NXT.
Oh yeah, man.
Nah.
The reason I watch that show is just because he might say something stupid.
See, that's how I know you like bad things, Paul.
One thing I will say about Joe Tessitore, though, is that just the quality of his voice sounds very sports official. So I like that part of it.
I think that's what Cody hates about it.
Yeah, no, but it sounds unnatural in a pro wrestling setting.
Yeah,
he sounds like a boring ass baseball announcer.
I will agree with that. It is kind of jarring to me or whatever to hear him talk, but the content is okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
It
think
just
I've
depends on how long
heard
you're gonna stick around, because the other guy that they had before, like the non, wrestling guy that they brought in there or whatever, he was kind of in the same boat to where like his voice just his voice just didn't fit in with what you were viewing. I guess that's Cody's issue, but I don't know. If it won't work out, it won't work out. It'll be gone, and then there you go.
I'm intrigued to see what happens when Pat McAfee's done with sports and he gets to come back for about 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Because Michael Cole is going to want to team up with him. I could see that ending up on SmackDown because that's one of the most accessible shows, especially once this thing goes to Netflix. Do you have like a 3-person booth with Corey, or does Corey take time off to go hang out with his kid? Maybe I don't.
Yeah, Corey should take time.
Or Graves can get back in the ring.
He is.
No one wants that.
He does.
There was a rumor about that like a year ago that didn't happen. It's going to be like the opposite of when Nigel showed up. Like Corey Graves' music's going to hit in a Royal Rumble, and you're going to be like, oh, all right.
I don't even know what that sounds like.
Yeah, I don't either.
That's why, like you made that point a long time ago. That's why their graphics are the way they are now. It's just big name on screen.
Yeah, that's the hardest part about watching SmackDown is like, I think it was last week Bayley's music hit, and I genuinely had no idea who was coming out until they like put the camera on her.
I miss Drew McIntyre's old theme with the Titantron, how the blood would just drip on his name and shit, and then they would just show the clips of him doing the DDT.
At least his current theme song is good, and you know that when that sword stuff happens, that's Drew McIntyre.
Mm-hmm. The Terminator
like his music's pretty decent. There was that story that came out that this week they're allegedly, and I feel like I heard about this months ago, but they're not continuing their relationship with
Def Rebel.
I was going to say CFO $, but
same difference.
Virtually identical. And that they're going to start using real musicians again.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Which means I think Saliva's problematic now, but that they're not above that. They have Sexy Red coming back to NXT. So can we get some Saliva remixes of some badass rock music?
Saliva's problematic?
I think so.
Yeah, just drooling all over the place.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
Also,
yeah,
I just like
during COVID era, Saliva's real bad.
I wanted to like look up to see why they were canceled, so I just Googled Saliva. I don't know what I was expecting, but I got greeted with just 2 giant pictures of babies drooling.
Mm-hmm. I figured out why old boy wasn't in the new Beetlejuice movie. So yeah, people change. People do bad things.
I feel like Triple H should dip back into the black and gold NXT bucket and grab like Slipknot and Poppy and Code Orange.
Sure.
Hey, he's on the AEW contract.
Well, Orange. Yeah, right. But yeah, I mean, they had Code Orange perform live on that one NXT pay-per-view. So get those guys.
Yeah.
I don't think that. I think you might be thinking of Trapt
song.
Oh, I know Trapt is a fucking problematic. I think the Saliva lead singer is also a big trumper, though.
Hey, can we get a nice Creed?
You know what's weird?
There?
Donald Trump gets in trouble every week for playing music from a band that does not want to be affiliated with him. When you have Trapt and Saliva right there, like, what better song than Headstrong for a guy who got shot at and almost hit in the head?
Oh my God.
What are you doing, Paul?
I think you're making this up. I can't find anything about them being problematic. The lead singer's eldest son, Cody, died from complications due to COVID.
That is
there ain't
problematic.
there ain't no controversy sections on their Wikipedia page. So
maybe you're thinking of Stained.
All right. Maybe Saliva's. Oh, is Stained problematic? I love Stained.
Pretty sure Stained is problematic.
Yeah, Stained definitely.
We need to do a butt rock podcast.
Yeah.
And that's right, folks. Go to fatal4pod.com for more information.
You know what someone needs? This is $1 million idea. I can't believe I'm giving away for free on this podcast, but there needs to be a website that's called like aretheycanceled.com, and you just like type in a celebrity or a band and they'll let you know whether or not they're canceled.
It's like a sadder version.
Isn't canceled, but they have takes that will get them there.
Yeah.
It's like a sadder
It's like
version of is
Spectrum.
DMXinjail.com.
Yeah.
That's what, if you typed in Dave Chappelle, that's what it would say. It's like, he's not canceled, but here's some things you should read.
Remember, is JTG still employed? That was a website for a while.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, getting back to Raw and employments actually on Raw. Sheamus has signed a contract extension with the WWE, which is pretty great.
Good for him.
Cool.
I like that. I hope they
we like to see
use
that.
him more than, a jobber, but
He's got to get that Intercontinental title win. I think he should be the one that
Yeah.
takes it from Braun Breaker, honestly.
okay. That sounds like a banger of a match.
That match would rule.
Yeah.
Imagine Braun Breaker going for a spear and then Sheamus just
Bro
kicking him out of the air.
Well, Sheamus is doing that jumping knee now too, which would look pretty
Either
cool.
or.
yeah.
Yeah, I want that match. Do that.
Yeah.
Do it
Yeah.
now.
Sheamus
But
would
the
have
stuff with-
all the titles.
The stuff with him and Pete Dunne has been enjoyable on Raw. They had a really good match this week. So, I'm definitely glad he's sticking around.
Yikes! The Trapt band. Oh no!
Yeah.
I thought there was problems, but then it says Brown, who I think is the lead singer, used the band's he used the band's Twitter handle to blame George Floyd for his own death.
Oh no. Oh,
Anyway, back to my
no.
original point. How's Trump not using Trapt in his fucking rap? They're not going to be mad. Fuck. Anyway, I see why they have one hit.
Braun Breaker is going to be defending the Intercontinental Championship against Jey Uso next week on Raw.
Possible pivot.
Yeah.
Bloodline shenanigans.
I've enjoyed
Called
this
it.
dude. You think so?
Yeah. Just because they won't let them have nice things.
Oh no.
If anywhere, I mean, besides, Paul wanting Sheamus to take it off of Braun Breaker or whatever, I mean, yeah, I agree. But I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing him get it done because they seem to be putting a lot into fucking Jey Uso for whatever reason. Get him a title, get it on him, get it off him. And
What do you mean for whatever
we
reason?
move
Do you see
past
how
it.
over he is?
No.
Yeah, I
No.
know. I'm just saying.
First,
How
don't
much
take
merch
the
he
title
has?
off Braun
Or
for Jay.
twins tags. That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, I Jay needs to get his crowning moment, but not yet. I say keep the title on Braun for a while and have Sheamus take it off him at Rumble or something,
Yeah.
I think the
either
story
or.
here is that Sammy and Jay come out losers at the next pay-per-view and both decide, like, let's just go win the tag titles. And then they do. And
Ooh, and then
then they
Bloodline.
find their way into the
That
Survivor
other
Series
stuff.
match.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good idea.
More bad news about Trapt, by the way.
Oh gosh.
Their Twitter account, this is all breaking news from 4 years ago. Their Twitter account was suspended in November 2020 after the lead singer wrote a bunch of tweets defending older teachers sleeping with boys. He said that he would high five a 15-year-old boy who had sex with a 25-year-old female teacher. He said, and later said it was a joke in bad taste. But come on, man.
No. You took time to proofread
God.
that. Make
Bad
sure there was
news.
no mistakes.
More bad news about Trapt. In October 2022, they announced their support for the Proud Boys. I'm not even making this shit up. This is all here on their Wikipedia. This is real.
And what part
This
of
is
their
no-
Wikipedia page is that like controversies?
Social media use. It should be named controversies because there's nothing positive in here. It's all bad. I think we should start a trend, and listeners, you can join us in this. why don't you share some other things that more bad news about Trapt. Hashtag more bad news about Trapt. Something they've done that you just need to tell people about. Yeah. More bad news about Trapt. They just endorsed Mark Robinson from North Carolina. That's a relevant joke. You guys were too busy feeding giraffes at the zoo to know that
I saw
he proudly
I was on
said
Twitter
he was a
today.
black Nazi on porn sites. Come on.
God.
Who says that on porn sites?
Is it
Yeah, say it on regular sites like Paul does.
is it the traditional spelling of trapped?
Trapt. That's the name of the band. Do you not know this band, B-Rob?
I've heard of it. Don't know.
You know
of
Headstrong. It was the theme to was it Unforgiven 2002?
Okay.
Headstrong, take on anyone.
Great song. Perfect for running, especially if Trapt is chasing you.
Trying to give you a high five.
Don't high five me. I didn't do this. Anyway, I'll see if I can find more bad news about Trapt as we continue this show.
We should be talking about Raw because this I think we're underselling the fact this was a very good Raw. I honestly think this was like an all-timer Raw. Like I honestly think top 10 Raws of all time.
What do you think about that Bronson Reed?
As far as like, you know, there's been Raws where like, oh yeah, big memorable moments happen and stuff like that. Like, you know, when Austin rode the Zamboni into the arena and stuff. But like, do you remember anything else that happened on that show? No,
but I'm also not going to remember anything from this Raw. But it was very good.
Well, but that's what I'm saying is like, it didn't have like big memorable moments like that. So it will probably be forgotten. But from just like a start to finish, everything on this show was good. You know why? There was nothing that was bad.
Do you want to know why?
Do I know why?
No Wyatt 6.
Okay.
Ooh.
They had one little video package that made no fucking sense that you could easily tune out because it was right before commercial break.
That's a good point.
Speaking of people who are Wyatt affiliated, though, can we talk about the Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed match? Because it was fucking wild.
He threw a fan at him.
He threw the fan at him. That guy looked like Jazzy Jeff being thrown out of Uncle Phil's house. He flopped all around the place. It was awesome.
I think my favorite thing about that.
Did you see the cell phone footage of that?
Oh yeah, from the other angle. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
I have not.
Funny stuff.
So good.
I think my favorite thing about that is how some wrestling fans turn their nose up at it because they're like, "Wow, that's so fake. He wouldn't throw a fan." The whole fucking show's fake.
Oh, yeah.
Of course he wouldn't throw a fan.
They'd get in trouble.
It should have been
part of
the only way it would have been better is it should have been a stunt granny.
God, I wish it was
give him that extra heel heat for throwing an elderly woman.
Stunt granny.
We'll have to review that for the Patreon.
I
Surely we can find wrestling secrets revealed on something. Oh no, more bad news. No.
Okay. the turnbuckle spot was pretty neat too.
Yeah, no, the whole thing.
The match started with them breaking the ring.
Yeah. It did have a barricade spot, which those are getting kind of tired, but
they use them seldomly these days.
Yeah, it's like their hallmark though. It's one of the things they do.
I feel like it's actually impactful now though, because they're so restrained about, like, it used to be it happened every single week, but now they give it some room, give it time to breathe, and so when it happens, it feels impactful again.
And I kind of like how they hyping up the DLC stuff or whatever. They're starting to put the overall ratings and stats on the screen again.
More bad news about Trapt.
Are you serious?
I was gonna save it for later, but this whole time it has flown over my head that the lead singer's last name, who I referred to earlier as just Brown, is named Chris Brown. Are we certain?
Oh no!
Are we certain this isn't the guy who hit Rihanna?
Oh no!
God.
Yeah, this clown would never be in the same room as Rihanna, so I don't
Probably
think so.
not. Especially
But he's
because
really
in
good at
2017,
dancing,
he said that institutional racism does not exist. Man, just play music. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, just play your little head song and shut up.
Little heads.
I don't want to be that guy that says, like, stay out of politics, shut up and do your job. But, like, you got one hit, man. You ain't in a position to be taking these takes. You got to keep that in your back pocket for later when you have 2 hits. You don't see Sai saying any of this shit.
Or do you?
I don't know. Let me check.
Oh, no, hashtag more bad news about Sai.
Bad news about Sai. Fuck. No, there's nothing bad here. It's just bop after bop is all it says.
That's not what it says. That can't be what it says.
He's very much like Sheamus. He just shows up and he says bop after bop after bop.
Well, one of the bops on Raw was the World Tag Team Championship match. Also, I love that, and I love what they're doing with the New Day. All Odyssey Jones controversies aside, I think they're telling a really great story, and I enjoyed the finish to that match where Xavier basically had it won, and all the shit on the outside of the ring with the LWO and Judgment Day and Kofi,
all
and
the shenanigans.
Xavier was pissed, and I do want to see like a triple threat tag match between all these teams, and I don't want to see a breakup from New Day. Like I really,
I'd prefer.
I want to see them work it out.
Yeah.
I want
But
to
it's
see them
like-
work it out, and if that turns them into like a heel group, like I'd rather see them just take a different direction rather than fall apart.
right? Yes, exactly. So, but I'm tuned in. I like it. And yeah, we talked a little bit earlier, but Bianca and Io Sky also had a phenomenal match. Bianca Belair continues to prove that she's the greatest women's wrestler of all time.
She's the EST.
She's so underutilized right now. I know she's a women's tag team champion, but like
What would you
they
have
just
her
have
do
to-
right now, though? Like serious question.
I know in the group chat earlier we shared the story about mid-card women's titles, and I don't think she should have one. I don't think she should have one. But like there's too much shit going on right now for her to be in a top program. So like
I mean,
move
she
Nia
want to
down.
break it in, right?
Move Nia down to one of the mid-card titles.
Now, and I also, we've seen it in the past with, goofy ass Austin Theory and shit or whatever. When you institute these extra sets of titles in this division or whatever, does that change the implications of the Money in the Bank for them as well?
Oh yeah, that's gross. It shouldn't.
Yeah, no.
Word.
But also, I was gonna say there's no Money in the Bank in play right now, but Tiffany does have one.
It is. And she's besties with Nia, which is going to lead to a double cross. I feel it in my bones.
Can we get on with that like tomorrow?
We could.
I think
would like to
Nia's
see that
very
title.
good as what she's doing, but like the there's just nothing like SmackDown women's division really needs a Roxanne Perez or something to like spice it up.
Or Cora Jade, maybe.
I like Cora Jade a lot. I hope that she goes back to NXT and finds her bearings before getting called up. Just for a minute.
Probably not.
I don't know. SmackDown's women division needs help.
Help.
But we can talk a little bit more about NXT women in a second, because one glaring omission from our Raw talk is the way the show started, and really set the tone for what ended up being one of the best episodes of Raw. Was the best in the world.
When I came back to the WWE, I said I did not come here to make friends, and that didn't necessarily mean that I came here to make a mortal enemy, but that's exactly what I have done. So much so that the only way to end this between Drew McIntyre and myself is in hell in a cell. And now the devil's here. The devil in my heart tells me the only way this ends is in hell in the cell. The same heart Drew McIntyre promised that he was gonna get to stop beating. And Drew McIntyre, I can't promise I'm gonna kill you. Because I won't make promises that I 100% cannot deliver on. So here is my promise. I'm gonna make you bleed. And I promise that you are going to have to kill me. Because I am prepared to die. I am prepared for this heart to stop beating. I am prepared for all of this to be over with. I had a great career, and if this is the end, so be it. I'm prepared for this to be the end of CM Punk. And if you're prepared for this to be the end of Drew McIntyre, then I'll see you in hell. This chip is what makes you the best. Maybe not just in NXT, maybe in WWE. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I was in Portland last night. I watched Bianca Belair and Io Sky absolutely go toe-to-toe and tear the house down. And the entire time, I was thinking, wow, you know who would fit in right here with these two badass ladies? Roxanne. You know who might be better than these two women? Roxanne. But none of that's gonna matter when you get your ass handed to you in Chicago by Julia. This is the match I wanted to talk about. This was my announcement, because a match this big isn't just about that NXT title. A match this big determines the direction in which the entire brand goes. Two very special athletes, two very different men with two completely different visions. A match that big doesn't deserve, it needs something special. The people have spoken. This match needs a special guest referee. Ladies and gentlemen, I happen to be that man on October 1st, live on the CW for the first time, NXT. The title will be determined in a match, and the referee making the 3 count is CM Punk.
Yeah, a whole lot of CM Punk this week. Of course, that first clip was him at the start of Raw, and then the last two were his appearance on NXT this week.
Really can tell the difference between like acoustics and crowd size between those two clips.
I genuinely didn't notice until listening to it now. I'm like, oh, they have a completely different setup.
Yeah. I loved his promo on Raw. I thought, and now as I've said on the show, I did not have a problem with any of the bracelet stuff. I enjoyed the storytelling aspects of it, but I know a lot of people were very critical of it, and I feel like this promo...
Look, it's a bracelet. He didn't burn down the other guy's house or anything, but...
No, that'd be ridiculous.
Awesome.
I think this promo should shut a lot of those critics up, and it really set the tone for this Hell in a Cell match and gave the gravity and the intensity that this program warrants. And I thought it was perfect and a great way to sell the pay-per-view. I can't wait to watch them kill each other.
I think I've said this on the podcast before, but like the tonal shift since Vince left, where they do say things like gun and kill, does add something to the product. I think even Cody got
When did
color
they say
in the
gun?
cage match. Well, they say like machine gun now. For a long time, they wouldn't call Carl Anderson machine gun, and
Gotcha.
because I watch NXT as the only true wrestling fan on the internet, I've noticed that they have started calling him machine gun again when they show up.
I forget they're on that show.
Yeah, so do I. It's always unfortunate when they show up. But regardless, they've clearly like lifted a bunch of banned terms because they were always stupid to begin with. But I also get why you don't want to like lean into that stuff because you kind of want the escape from reality, and reality does kind of suck sometimes.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I think it fits this program. Like it makes sense,
right? Exactly. I just don't want it overused. Like if every feud is being like, "I hate you, I want to kill you," and it's like, okay, dude, like you guys just having a random match on SmackDown, like, then it would be too much. But a program like this, absolutely, to have Punk go out there and say like, "I'm willing to die in the ring," and like, I don't know, it's a blood feud. It makes sense. It's good stuff.
Do you think they lean more when they eventually end up on Netflix?
I think once we get to Netflix, I think we see. Well, we never hear a bleeped out crowd again. That's still the worst part of being on USA is the amount of bleeping they do when the crowd chants "Holy shit!" Like you just got to take that. But NXT, I think that goes, or NXT Netflix, I think that goes away, and I think we probably get some blood back on the program more regularly, but not to the extent of like several
more
matches
warranted stuff.
Yeah.
Cody's gonna want to get drafted to Raw so fast if that's true.
Me too. I want him on there because Cody's great, and I feel like he's really being wasted on SmackDown right now.
Yeah.
So we heard 3 promos from that guy. The point stated in the first one, good, but I did not like the delivery. You sound like you're doing.
You didn't like a silly, angry voice?
Yeah, I didn't like that. It sounded like a petulant child complaining about, I didn't get my chips and I wanted my snack and now I gotta take a nap. Oh, okay. And then I liked all the talking up that he did of Roxanne Perez because I'm biased. I like Roxanne Perez.
Yeah, he really. That was so. NXT was weird this week. I turned it off early because it made me so fucking angry. They kicked the show off by not signing the contract for this title match. And I'm like, okay, you've already promised me one thing and you didn't deliver on it. And then they brought in some basketball guy who's not even from Florida to like.
Don't even like that. No.
No, you the crowd. But then CM Punk comes out mid-show to do his announcement and Roxanne interrupts him and he just gasses her up the whole time. And then, which is good. But then, then Julia shows up. And then Punk doesn't make his announcement. And I'm like, I'm out. I'm not watching the rest of the show. And then he finally shows up in the main event segment again and announces that he's the referee for Ethan Page and Trick Williams. Which the special referee gimmick it's being overused.
Yeah. And I think that also a thing about him in that Roxanne segment or whatever, it seemed a little strung out, but it felt like also they missed cues on when Julia was supposed to come out.
I love Julia's presentation. I can't get over like the just the simpleness of it and how great she looks in front of like just kind of a dark screen and the what are those trees called?
Like this
trees
with the pink trees, the flower trees.
Oh, cherry blossoms.
Bloomins, cherry blossoms. That's it. It looks great. Like, don't change anything. Maybe give her a saliva remix, but don't change anything else.
You could change her outfit. Her outfit was a little whack. But
this guy wants her to take off her clothes. What a pervert.
Okay, hold on.
Hey.
Cody, look out. Trap's trying to give you a high five.
I like the CM Punk stuff on NXT, obviously. I was not a fan of Roxanne in this segment, though. She is not.
She's not a bad person. Yeah, she's not a bad
just
person.
not believable. Like, I didn't believe a word she was saying. Like, we know how much she loves CM Punk, and to have her be out there and be like I'm a bigger fan of your wife line was cute, but
I liked the "tell me what I'm telling lies" bit. She had her zingers, but I think she's been fine in this role. But when you put her across of CM Punk, I don't buy it.
Right,
and
exactly.
She's just too likable.
Yeah,
right.
It's not like Bailey where you're like,
cast.
there's no way this girl's going to be a good heel, and then it turns out she is, but she still should go back to her old music. Like Roxanne, she's good. She's good at everything, but I don't believe her running down CM Punk. I also thought this was going to set up a Cora Jade return, even though they're all best friends, which is weird. I feel like Trapt is about to high five CM Punk.
Oh, no.
Oh my god. So anyway, and Paul,
he wanted to be a mentor so bad.
I feel like we've had a lot of special guest referee matches this year, but it's a new feature in the 2K game this year, so they had to sell. They're still selling copies. Got that new DLC and play as special guest referee CM Punk.
There you go. Download now on your classic PS5.
We're also going to talk about the other big announcement from NXT was that for the is it the second episode of NXT on CW in St. Louis, we're getting Randy Orton versus the young OG Javon Evans,
just so he can do that springboard out of the corner and get caught by an RKO.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that they were like, "Hey, Randy, what do you want to do on NXT?" And he was like, "Just give me your flippiest guy so I can RKO him."
Hold on a second now. What if he beats Randy Orton?
That'd be wild.
I'm just floating it out there because it's not above Randy Orton to do something bold like that. And like that Keith Lee match he had where Orton lost in 5 minutes, and you're like, holy shit, Keith Lee just steamrolled him.
Wait a minute.
That would be cool.
Theme here. We got a theme here. He lost to Mark Henry for the world title, right?
I think I get what B-Rob's saying. I think Orton is still doing reparations for the time he said the N-word on the stream.
I think so.
Except at this point, like he's the woke king, Randy Orton.
Yeah, is that on a t-shirt now? It's a little viper with a crown.
Yeah, I need Will Housel to get on that Photoshop.
Didn't know I needed
little viper with
Randy
a crown,
Orton
and he's like holding flags.
Yeah. What?
He's RKO Chris Brown. Both of them. That match is gonna rule. Like no question.
It's gonna rule. If Paul, I think you are onto something though, because if you want to make a star, like this could be a 1-2-3 kid Razor Ramon type of match, and you could make
continue to pay those reparations.
The thing is, you have to immediately do something with Javon after this. He can't just go back to being a backstage guy who's happy to be there the night after.
Don't let this be a Leon Ruff situation.
Hey, he won a title.
Trying to remember who Leon Ruff is.
Paul knows who Leon Ruff is. He had the feud with Johnny Gargano.
He won the title and it fell around his waist because he was skinny.
Oh yeah, that guy ruled.
He was awesome.
Wasn't he Leon Ruff?
Underdogs.
Two different people.
Leon Ruff.
They are different people. I remember Leon Ruff. Leon Ruff sounded
Paul,
like, "Hey, we are doing a bit."
You about to high five Trapt? You better calm down.
See, I can't call someone boy.
Leon Ruff sounds like if someone just turned Leo Rush into like a dog.
I think that was the bit though, because he was a tiny guy.
Hold on, wait a minute.
Leo Rush is a tiny guy. What are you talking about?
I know. I think that was the joke. Was that Leo Rush was already out?
Ruff.
What's Leon Ruff up to now?
He was
Indies.
on AEW.
Yeah, Indies.
Yeah.
Oh no.
He's no, don't you do that. No.
More bad news about Leon Ruff.
Don't tell
Nothing.
me.
He's married to
the referee.
Smith.
Yeah, the black referee.
I guess that's the bad news. Is she's off the market.
Multiple black
They have a dog named Junie.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice.
That's it.
They just went to Disneyland too.
Wow.
Okay, I don't follow them that closely.
I was like,
It's not
B-Rob knows
listed
a
on
lot
their
about Leon
Instagram.
Ruff.
I mean, I follow them on Instagram.
I want to talk more about the upcoming NXT shows that are with the changing TV climate, and I think we should do that. I think we should do that after the break because we can also talk about Saturday night's main event, which is back, and we'll talk more about that 3-hour SmackDown. And we are back, folks, with some news. It was actually a very news-filled day because one, the Lucha Brothers apparently have signed a long-term deal with the WWE and will be starting on the main roster, which seems perfect for a 3-hour SmackDown that needs more talent.
Especially,
how do we feel about this? I think we've talked about this before, but how do we feel about it?
I'm excited.
Fine.
I'm very excited. As long as they aren't immediately put with the LWO or Legado del Fantasma.
Yeah, but to say,
what if they're put with Andrade?
El Gato del LW Fan him. Oh,
then they should form a super group. Legato World Order.
Oh God, no. Please.
Yeah.
Triple H, if you're listening, don't do it. The tag division in WWE as a whole desperately needs a facelift, and what better team to do it than the ones with no faces because they wear masks.
Yeah. Then you have Motor City Machine Guns finish doing their little thing down at NXT, then have them pop up and have them against the Lucha Brothers. That'd be cool.
I think so. I think this is good. We've talked about it before on this show, but like they did everything they could do in AEW. So this is just the most logical thing. Otherwise, you're just going to be spinning in circles down there.
And like we just said, I mean, there's a lack of depth in the tag division as is, or it's just in disarray. But I mean, we can get some fresh matchups. They're gonna do a couple one-on-ones. So I mean, who we trying to put Phoenix and Penta up against?
Street Profits.
30 I'm talking about one-on-ones.
You said both of their names.
I know. Who you want to see
also
them go up against one-on-one?
Do one-on-one matches too. I don't care. Both Street Profits are great.
The Usos, I mean, we definitely need to get, once Jimmy and Jay are back together, a match between those two teams. I want to see them work with the New Day. And I want to see Penta. I want to see Penta in singles matches with guys like Cody and Gunther and
I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, that'll slap.
I'm glad you brought Gunther up because he did an interview or whatever, because he's known for his big chops and everything, right? So I think the question they asked Gunther or Walter at the time or whatever it was, who hit him the hardest in his career or whatever, and he said Penta was the person that hit him the hardest in his career. He's like, that man hit him, and he's like, I don't understand how this is happening right now. Why am I feeling like this? So I mean, these two can get back together and chop the shit out of each other.
Here's my question, and this is concerning Paul's taste in moves done in a professional wrestling ring.
Oh no.
I know AEW gets a lot of flack for using a Canadian destroyer as a transitional move. And I feel like Lucha Bros were like one of the main perpetrators of that.
Yes.
Do you think that is toned down here?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you think they tell them, hey, cut that shit out?
It might be one of their finishes if they're comfortable having that on the show as a finish. But like, that's getting toned down. You can watch Dynamite and you can watch Raw, and you can just see the way they structure their matches are very different.
Yes.
I fully expect the Lucha Brothers to be told, hey, this is not how we do it here. You don't need to do 6 Canadian destroyers for a 1 count. But I'm excited. There's so many like fresh matches to see there.
And one thing, I mean,
awesome. Also the production, like I know we haven't heard their theme song yet. That's up in the air, but just the way they'll be presented is going to be so cool.
Yeah. And one thing that I'm thinking about as far as the move set goes or whatever. It's nothing major, but like we know, Kevin Owens used to do the package power driver, and we have yet to see that on WWE TV. And I doubt if we ever will. But that's one of Penta's main things. He does the package power driver. Will they allow it?
Yeah, no, a lot of their moves are so brutal. That's a good point. Yeah.
I think they save it. It'll happen once, and it'll be against Kevin Owens.
I'm trying to think if there's any tag team I don't want to see them wrestle. Like even AO. Yeah, there it is. That's the one. I was gonna say even AOP
Down
sounds
Under?
like AOP sounds like it'd be pretty cool. No, A-Town Down Under could bump like crazy for them.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
So I'm not worried about that. But like an AOP match would probably be really neat. Wyatt 6 definitely would be the match I don't want to see.
They're spooky.
Mhm.
Penta's
They're
That's it.
creepy and they're spooky, mysterious.
Actually, Penta's not scared of them at all.
Yeah,
he'll come out from behind a tombstone with a shovel, kill somebody.
Maybe you can bury them. What else is happening? Saturday night's main event is back. Did you hear about? You see this? You hear about this?
Yeah.
Saturday, December 14th, live from Long Island, New York. They're
Is it
doing,
one-off or recurring?
I think I mean, it's a one-off,
They'll do more of them, I'm sure.
but I think I think the specials are back on the menu.
Okay.
Is my hunch. So like this is going to be on NBC local and Peacock, starting at 7 Eastern on Saturday, December 14th. Probably leading into
Saturday
a big
night of
SNL.
wrestling.
I love this. Like this is NBC has nothing to put on Saturday nights except for SNL. If you want to put some wrestling on there, I'm watching it.
Very well.
That's more appointment programming like an SNL. So
Yeah. Also,
something that people tune in for.
back to an earlier discussion from earlier, not Trapt, but people being nostalgic for things that are truly bad. I saw a lot of people tweeting, people don't understand how great Saturday night's main event was. You got the great Khali versus Chavo.
What?
Or like whatever. Or no, it was Jimmy Wang. I'm like, you can't say stuff like that on the internet. It's a crime. Like, you're not allowed to talk like that. And you should be taken out back. Saturday night's main event before the last reboot was like an iconic staple of wrestling, to my knowledge. The only thing that they did on Saturday night's main event that meant anything was Randy Orton RKOing Hulk Hogan. And then maybe, did he kiss his daughter?
What?
Hogan kissed his daughter?
Oh, he might have. But did Randy Orton kiss Hogan's daughter? I feel like he did, or he tried to like
Trapt. High
He
five.
kissed Stephanie. I don't remember him kissing Brooke.
I thought he like tried to holler at Brooke Hogan for a minute, but Orton RKOing Hogan on the car was really cool, and I remember that being a thing. But that was about it. Other than that, Saturday night's main event in the 2000s was not good, and I hope they treat this better than that. I think they will, because they're going to see like, hey, this is an opportunity for eyeballs on the product, and the product now is better than it's been maybe in a long time, if not ever.
It's definitely
I
the
hope they do
best
some
it's
cool
been
shit.
in a long time. Yeah.
I mean, the poster has Cody and Roman and Seth on it, like, and Bianca and Liv. Like, you're not advertising those people if they're not going to be there.
At least on the first episode.
So it's only one. So
right, yeah, because it's like an event.
So yeah, you go all out. You get. I mean, if they're going to put Roman on there, maybe you do Roman and Cody here.
I'm thinking about Saturday night main event, and the only thing that like really pops up into my mind, I don't know if this is a Mandela effect thing. It's old shit or whatever. I think it was Macho Man and Hogan. They had a match, and they advertised Mike Tyson was going to be like the special referee or enforcer, but he got knocked out by Buster Douglas, so they took him out and put Buster Douglas in, and Buster Douglas knocked out Macho Man that night.
So are you saying that we should put one of the Paul brothers in?
Fuck and you.
One thing I just noticed on this graphic, and maybe it means nothing. Cody is not wearing the WWE title.
Oh.
Yeah, but is anyone
in
winning
the
any
picture.
titles?
No, but is that worth reading into? Maybe not, but
absolutely not.
something to speculate.
So how does Saturday night's main event work? Like, is it like
Just a
every
show.
once in a while thing? Or is it
I
like
think
a
that was the
quarterly
idea. It was like a
thing?
quarterly thing for a while.
Okay. Yeah.
And one of the things that I was nostalgic about was there was one of the old 2000s ones that was bad. Had no Titantron. They just had like a projector on the wall of the building. It might have been this same building. And it looked really cool. Like it was a very toned down stage at a time where they didn't tone shit down at all. And it looked great. And I kind of hope they stick with something like that. They probably won't, but
So it's like a battle of the belts, but there ain't no belts to battle over.
yeah, they're
Which
not
is fine
promising you something.
because
Yeah.
because
They're
that
actually
show
delivering on the
barely-
promise because it is
Yeah.
a Saturday night and there will be a main event. So
Yeah.
I'm excited about that. I like random crap. I think that's it. Like it's just a fun
Yeah.
extra thing. Just
It'll be
Saturday in
fun.
December, like perfect. So I wanted to briefly talk on just how things are going to look in 2025. I think we've kind of done that throughout the show, but like 3-hour SmackDown.
God.
If
You're
it's
gonna have to watch it.
like the show that they're putting on now, I can't imagine tuning in for it ever.
No.
But they're gonna have to fill it up.
long.
They're gonna have to fill it up.
They have to have something going on. They can't just have an hour and a half of the Bloodline.
Yeah, it's the Bloodline and
Oh, they can.
one Nia Jax program.
Which that's like kind of Bloodline because she's on the tree graphic.
Yeah, the whole show is Bloodline. I was annoyed because on this week's SmackDown, like Nia's out there being like, "Hey, they want me to defend my title, but I don't have an opponent." And like Bailey showed up, and I'm like, "Oh, we're still doing this." And then Naomi got involved, and I'm like, "Oh,
And
ain't
also
nobody
Tiffany's
ready to come
there.
back from injury?" I guess there was that story this week that Charlotte Flair's still hurt, which I didn't know that she was that hurt.
Seriously? Jeez.
Hey,
I don't know. Maybe like try pushing Tegan Knox again or something. Like, just give me a fresh face on this program, please. See if Alexa's ready to come back to work. See if Carmella's ready to come back to work. I don't care. Just give me something new.
Alexa Bliss has a voice acting gig for the Netflix special for the Japanese pro wrestler Dump Masamuto. She does some of the voice acting in that Netflix series.
That piqued my interest more than anything else about that. So I might check it out.
I'm going to watch it because we're going to talk about it on Didn't Get All of It Japan and probably do a tape study on her. And I also have a video game coming from eBay that features her as well.
Wow.
That seems like a great thing for Patreon.
Yeah.
Just going to push that one out there. Don't put that on a Wednesday. Or, yeah, Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
We don't do shows on Wednesdays.
NXT on CW. I think it's interesting
wonder
that
how
they
it's
changed
gonna
the
look.
venue. They changed well, it's more orange than it used to be. I've
Yeah.
noticed that. It's darker and orange.
Halloween.
But they changed the venue for the St. Louis show because it wasn't selling. So I think that's a predicament they're going to run into if they want to tour at all, is that this ain't an arena show.
Yeah.
Doesn't have all the
Not
big
yet.
draws that the main roster is going to have.
But this was like when they said Orton was going to be there, and even St. Louis is like, we've seen Orton.
Mm-hmm.
He's been around for 25 years. We've seen him. Yeah. I think that's a tough sell. I don't know how much they're going to be touring, but they've apparently started canceling like future house shows, which does not help the talent there that desperately needs to get the reps in.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you got to level up for that.
Yeah, but like
Yeah, but it's still in front of the same crowd.
you need
Yeah,
more.
you're
They
right.
need to tour, because a big problem with current WWE development is that these acts get onto the main roster and they are not over at all. Because yeah, they worked in front of the 200 people or whatever in the NXT zone, but Like Tony
Also,
D
like,
and the family, that shit ain't working on the main roster.
Shit barely works down there.
Right.
And it's not like the NXT where it was like cult following, where when Enzo and Cass debuted on the main roster, everyone was excited because you would do it the night after Mania where all your hardcores were there. They don't have that anymore. A Bobby Roode debut doesn't exist with this current NXT. There's nobody you can call up from this current NXT brand that is ready for a first night pop and a good showing.
I know one.
Oh yeah, man.
well, yeah, Booker T. Yeah, I said it. Nah, probably
if
Trick Williams.
If you bring up Trick Williams to a show, do you send Booker T out first to just sit on the commentary?
Yes.
You don't send that motherfucker
yes,
there at all.
Yes, you do.
It doesn't
like
make
before
any
commercial break.
Nobody will hear him. Nobody won't hear him. You dumbass. No, it's not.
Before commercial break,
but seriously,
Joe Tessitore is like, "Hey, Booker T's joining us for commentary. I wonder what this is about." When we come back,
no.
Oh yeah, man.
No, none of that shit. Nah, but Trick Williams, I think, is probably one of the only ones. But also, just for the sheer factor of eyeball oogling, Jada Parker.
Who?
Don't you fuck around.
Yeah,
Don't you fuck around.
She's
I
not
watched the show. She shadow boxes in the back, and that's it.
Don't you fuck around.
No, that's the
you
difference.
She
talking
showed up
about-
on the main
That's the
roster
other Black
tomorrow. It would be the same as when Deonna Purrazzo appeared on Raw that one time. It would be dead silent. No one gives a shit.
They're and
You didn't hear what I
Fatal-
just said. I just said for the sheer fact of eyeball oogling.
Yeah, that ain't gonna work. Fatal Influence fucking stinks. Like, they need to bring
Have you
Mandy
turned-
back with Gigi.
Well, yeah, but have you changed your tune on JC?
Kind of. Like, I think this act is dragging her down. She should have been called up a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It sure feels like we threw these people together because we're not calling them up, and Toxic Attraction was a good act, so maybe we can just recreate that. I think they need to call Mandy back and bring her and Gigi back as a group to feud with them.
I mean, she is doing in-ring stuff right now. She just did the Black Label Pro Combine not too long ago, to where like they did in-ring stuff.
Is she going to give up her side job though? Her current main hustle?
I mean, she's.
Because I think that would be a requirement.
Yeah, I don't know.
But also, like, everybody's seen it all now, so like,
for real, what more could you do?
That's the thing. Is like, all right, they've seen it. You got your money. Come back to work.
Yeah,
the highest paid woman in NXT, even though her paycheck doesn't say that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Yeah, like NXT not. I assume they're gonna want to tour with CW, but they're gonna be stuck in that warehouse for a minute.
Yeah.
But then there was that story a couple weeks ago about them moving to Vegas because the lease is almost up on the warehouse.
Yeah, which was weird to me because like they would put so much money into the performance center being down there that like they wouldn't like have their own brick and mortar shit or whatever.
I thought that I legit thought they owned that building, but I guess they don't.
I did too. That's what I thought.
I know that the story came out like, oh, the Vegas story is not real, but that story didn't come out of nothing. I fully expect there has been discussions on like what do we do when the lease is up, and that's where that story came from.
And then
so I don't know where they'll produce NXT.
And then I could be wrong. I mean, Paul, you do a lot more traveling, but I know you don't really go to the West Coast as much. But like, if they did make a move like that to that area or whatever, I think it would be a better hub for travel internationally, right? Because everything just about goes through LAX, so they would be closer to that.
Yeah, that would do a number on the politics of the people that get stuck in Florida. Yeah, I don't know. I think their best bet is traveling and just admitting that they're not an arena show. And each week you're tuning in and seeing a different venue that is uniquely set up. But that just sounds like a big headache. And then you got trucks and a production crew, and it's a whole thing.
Whenever they had Black and Gold or, NXT proper, like in the beginning or whatever, they did small tours all the time. They did like the Largo Loop and all this other stuff. I mean,
I saw them in Houston at a concert venue. It was great.
I know. I went to a NXT show here where I got put on camera to do a stupid dance, and it was fucking funny. It was fun times. Get back to that, NXT.
Well, we'll have to track that down. Yeah, I think NXT is going to look quite interesting in the next several months. SmackDown's going to be long, and then Raw on Netflix. I think we talked about it earlier, but like, just bloodier, maybe. It's still going to be 3. I know it's going back to 2 for a minute, but it's going to be 3 hours on Netflix for sure. And I bet they get overruns if they want them. Not that they need it. They can kind of just go as long as they want.
I don't know. You think they'll do like the Peacock thing to where they have like in-house commercial? Because I mean, they're going to have some kind of breaks or transitions.
Well, technically, Netflix does have commercials if you are not paying top tier. Yeah. I do wonder how that's going to work, though. I assume they'll do in-house stuff. They'll probably work in ads like they do on Peacock, where it's like, I don't get Peacock ads, but they're going to show me the WWE Snickers ad because they paid to be on the program. I wonder how much it'll be over, because like, I guess they've done it on Raw too, or SmackDown, of matches are sponsored by whatever.
Lunchly.
Love putting the black people with purple drink and fried chicken.
They did that, didn't they?
They did.
They booked a strap match between 2 black men and had it sponsored by KFC.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was before they put all the graphics around the ring. That was just the bad commercial before it. With the dancing guy and his 2 chicken drums.
Fun time.
That was such a time. Anyway, this show's been a time. Does anybody have anything else they want to say? Any more bad news about Trapt?
I hope not. I hope that's all the bad news that's about Trapt.
Well, if you have more bad news about Trapt, please leave it in the comments. Let us know. But yeah, that's it, folks. We didn't get all of it this week. We will try again next week. But if you missed the beginning of the podcast, it's really weird how you listen to podcasts. But check out the Patreon, patreon.com/fatal4pod. $3 tier is live now. $5 tier is coming with bonus shows. We will be talking about video games. We'll be talking about the Vince McMahon documentary that's coming out soon. Lots of stuff on the horizon. And buy a shirt, write us a review, all the things to support your favorite podcast, which is us. Nobody else. Everybody else sucks. But yeah, for myself and Noah and Cody and B-Rob, that's been Didn't Get All of It. Bye. You guys can
Happy
say
anniversary.
Happy anniversary. It's your anniversary.